Welcome to the SJHL season previews on sjhl.ca. My name is Jeromy Corrigan, and over the course of the next 2.5 weeks, we're going to take a look at the season previews for all 12 of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League teams, and these season previews are brought to you by the Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association. Now, today we are pleased to be joined by head coach and general manager of the Weyburn Red Wings, Cody Mapes. Cody, thanks so much for taking some time to join us. How's it going today?
Good. Guys are starting to roll in town and stuff here, so we're excited.
Excited for an upcoming hockey season. It is just around the corner. All the 12 teams are gearing up for it. It's definitely an exciting time. But before we get into this upcoming season, let's talk a little bit quickly about last year. A tough year for the Weyburn Red Wings on the ice, finishing last in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. I guess, Cody, what can you kind of take away from last year when you look back on it?
Well, we look at what we have this year, and it was a struggle at times last year, but I think we put a lot of good pieces in place, and we have guys coming back now that we're really excited about. They were 18 years old last year, kind of finding their way through the league, and now that first summer after your first year junior, there's a lot of big steps in that summer, and we expect guys to have big second seasons, and I think that we have enough high end 18-year-olds from last year that are going to make that big step and have an impact right away. It was tough, but I think a lot of the building blocks to have sustainable success were put in place last year, and so I think that everybody here kind of sees the light at the end of the tunnel and sees us going the right direction.
And just like all the other teams in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, it was a busy off-season for you guys. Maybe just talk a little bit about some of the moves you made and how recruitment was for this upcoming season.
Recruitment's been good. We're excited. We've got some good 04s and 03s coming from all over the place. This was my first real recruiting season with, kind of being hired a little late last year and stuff. So I was excited about that, getting into that and getting to work with, some advisors and different teams and coaches and stuff like that. And help guys get to the next level of their hockey goals. And so, we got a lot of good guys coming in like that. We've added a lot of good pieces too. Like, we had guys like Edward Ruck and Jacob Kalin and Matthew Gauthier, 20-year-olds that are going to come in and have an immediate impact. But they also bring really good leadership qualities. And that was one thing when you had such a young team last year was, it was hard on your quote unquote leadership group when they didn't have a whole bunch of experience being leaders at this level. And so, we wanted to surround them with some guys that are have a little more experience in that, I guess you could say. And then we added a young guy in Carter Wickenheiser as well through a draft pick trade. And I've personally coached him before, and I'm excited that we can have him. He has the ability to be a high end guy in this league at some point. And we're excited to be able to add a guy like that for sure.
That leads well into my next question about, you touched on it, young players coming into your lineup. Other than Carter, maybe who are some other young players that you guys are really excited about coming into your organization this year?
Well, even like a guy like Ty Mason, he was here last year, but he's still only 17 years old. Right. He has a chance to kind of mirror what, hopefully what Matthew Perkins did last year with on the ice and hopefully scholarship wise as well, potentially. And we'll kind of see where that goes. And, we've got a young goalie coming out of Alberta and a young goalie coming out of Montreal that are going to battle out for a spot here, and they're both high end guys. Like, they're both really good, and they're going to push each other and push Daza, and we really like that. We've got a young local kid here in Dallin Oxelgren, not a flashy guy, but he's going to be a real steady guy for us on the back end. And, we've got some guys up front and stuff too, but, we're excited about our local talent that we can bring in as well.
Now, you touched on already a little bit, you brought in some new 20-year-olds, but when you look at, I guess, your group of 20-year-olds for this upcoming season, what do you think of them, and how important do you think that group of 20s is going to be when it comes to leading this young squad?
Well, I think you saw last year how important having 20-year-olds is. Like when we didn't have any of them, it does make some nights pretty tough. You know, your high end young guys are playing against 20-year-olds every night and every shift for that matter. And so, those 20-year-olds are important. You know, we've got a great group. There's some high skill. There's some high competitiveness. There's the want and the will to win. So we've got a real good mix in that 20-year-old group, and I think you're going to see that they're all going to play a very significant role in our lineup this year.
And I think, too, though, with those, like you mentioned last year being a young team, maybe just speak to the experience that a lot of those young players got, though, last year, despite it being, a tough year on the ice. Maybe just speak to how valuable that experience, though, was for them.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, those young guys got to play in situations where they might not have if they were behind 20-year-olds and stuff like that. And I mean, right. No team wants to go through a rebuild like that, but the reality is sometimes it's got to be done, and so that's kind of what we did. And those guys had the opportunity to play in some situations that they may not have got before. But, coming back now, like even look back to last year, our 19-year-olds last year, well, they didn't get their 18-year-old year. So there was a lot of learning curve with those guys as well, where it was still their first year junior. Like they got to get in some practices and 4 or 5 games the year before, but they didn't have the day-to-day, the month-to-month grind of a junior hockey season and a proper off season with, guys having gyms closed and rinks closed and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's good to see some guys come back and, they look like, especially some of the young guys, 17, 18-year-olds coming back, they don't look like bantam hockey players anymore. They're starting to look like men. They've got some shoulders on them and stuff. And you can tell those guys have had good off seasons.
Yeah, it seems like it's the first real off season that players have been able to properly get in the training that they have been in the last couple of years, for sure. Now, I guess for you, Cody, when you look at your roster on paper now going into the season, and when you look at your roster board, where do you think the strength of the Weyburn Red Wings is?
You know what? I would say we're probably pretty balanced, but we do really like our goaltending. We really like our back end. I think we're very optimistic about our group as a whole. But when you have guys, like I said, bring in Eddie Ruck, bring in Sam Bolt. We brought in Nolan Henderson last year. Those guys are going to have a big impact. We're real excited about that back end. There's going to be some really tough decisions, and there's going to be some big competition throughout the year on the depth chart, some internal competition for power play time, for minutes during games and stuff like that. And, that's so important in progressing your team the way you want to, is that having that internal competition where, guys want to catch the guy ahead of them or pull away from the guy behind them and keep their power play time and stuff like that. That's kind of how kids are wired now. They want that's what they're driven on. And so when you have that internal competition, it's great for the success of every individual. And of course, in turn, it's a success for the team as well.
And I guess finally, you just mentioned you guys as an organization are very excited about your group, but what are your expectations for the 2022-2023 season for your Weyburn Red Wings squad?
You know what? From here on out, the expectations are high. There's no rebuild mode. There's no be patient or anything like that. It's we expect to win every night, and we're gonna try to give our guys the best tools to win every night, and we'll see how the execution goes and stuff. I mean, kind of like Killer said before, there's a lot of good teams in this league. I mean, I think there was 8 teams in the playoffs last year that every team could have won that first round. You saw a lot of close games and a lot of close series. I mean, once you get into that playoffs, it's a bit of it's a dogfight, and anybody can win on any night. And so, I mean, once you get in, then take it from there. But, I think that the Weyburn Red Wings might surprise some people this year.
I think that's what you have to love about the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. You get in the playoffs and anything can happen. Cody, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today. Really appreciate it, and best of luck this regular season.
Thanks, Jeromy. Appreciate your time.
That is the head coach and general manager of the Weyburn Red Wings, Cody Mapes. And the Weyburn Red Wings will kick off their season on the road on Friday, September 16th, visiting the Melville Millionaires. Then they'll have their home opener the very next week on the 23rd against the Estevan Bruins.